speaking at my age particularly, public speaking is, I don't do much of anymore, which I did much when I was here at Our Lady of Victory. It just brought tears to my eyes to see such a beautiful school that you have here for the children. I just can't wait to go home and tell all the sisters that taught here what a wonderful success you have made of it. And it was worth all of it, our beginnings. I never expected to be saying all this, but I just can't hold it back. I went up through the classrooms and I went over and saw the building, and I saw my old classroom. It's a library now. I had 57 children that first year I was here. And Father Fleming said, "Oh, this has got to stop. We're not doing this anymore. We've got to start 2 grades. It's too many in a classroom." So that's what he did. The next year, we had 2 first grades, 2 second grades. We went on down the line and started. And of course, in the meantime, while we were standing in the building, we were only 4 rooms were done. So we taught in those rooms. And then the cafeteria was, well, the gym and the cafeteria was there for us also. But they built around us the whole year. They were building. And so it's really wonderful to be here with all of you. And thank you so much for coming. And it's a great honor to be chosen to do and be with you and give you some kind of a picture of the past that we came from, that you came from too, that brought it through this far. And I remember how wonderful the children were, and the parents just couldn't do enough for us. They would help us so many ways just to get that school started. And I see the same spirits here that we had at the beginning. I just can't thank you how thrilled I was when I got the email from John and Teresa. I just was overwhelmed. And of course the sisters have found out about it. Well, how come you? I said, well, I'm the only one around here now. So the others aren't around. And of course, my first grade student made sure I would be here. Did you know that I taught Margie? First grade. My lawyer. Yes, we had many of our days together.
So did I.
We clicked from the very beginning. It just was, it was wonderful. And that happens oftentimes when you have children. Just certain ones click with you and you are able to be something special to them. And that was what was with Margie and I. And I found out Sister Jean Flynn was too. I didn't know that. So she was the principal at that time. But I can't tell you that this is just a wonderful, and all the work you've done, and what you're doing it for. for the teachers. Hooray! Their tails off, I'll tell you. They work themselves to death to do the best they can for the children. And I've been in so many schools, and it's the same way. You know, they want to do the best. And that, I think what, I love what came out of is it's a vocation. And that's what is the most beautiful part of this program is people are beginning to realize the vocation of a teacher, no matter where she is. And particularly when she can be in a school, that she can express herself in a spiritual way and give that gift to children. And that has to come from grown-ups. That spiritual life that you develop in your child comes from parents and teachers. And that's fundamental in teaching, fundamental. And it is a joy whenever I just had a little kindergarten boy I had at St. Bede's School. He became a priest this year. I was so thrilled. The first time I ever had a young man become a priest that I taught. And I was so thrilled. So, and you parents, I know you make a lot of sacrifices. But when I was going to school, we didn't pay tuition. We didn't pay tuition. We just went to school and it was what the parish gave as a collection and that was it, you know. But now it's so different because the needs are greater and the world has changed so much. So my mother never had to pay for all of us going to school. But she did give in the collection, you know. But then that went by the wayside because everything became so expensive. And teachers had to go to school and get their degrees. Many of our sisters taught without degrees in the early days. And in fact, one sister just died. She lives on my floor at the mother house. 98 years old.
Wow.
And she was the most beautiful woman. And just walking around the mother house, praying all the time for everybody, anybody. But she was so loved by her students. And I had to call a man who sent in extra money for her. He said, "Sister, I'll never forget her. When I was in the 5th grade, my mother died. And she brought me up to her desk and she talked to me. And she said to me, if any time you want to talk, Johnny, please come to me and I'll be there for you because this is going to be a hard time for you." And he, you know, he's up in his 80s or something like that, you know. So that's what I mean, even, that's what the religion area gives to a teacher, that she can speak her heart. So don't ever be afraid to speak your heart to little children, older children, anyone, because all of us need it, you know. Just like I was speaking to my student over there, and she thrills me. So there's a few little things I'm going to read from my, if I could get through them, okay? Maybe put that down, just that's fine, that's fine. Okay. Well, I got this big speech about how I'm afraid to talk in public places, but you know, once I get started, you can't get rid of me.